Hey, I'm Lise Colucci, and I am here to talk to you today about being kind to yourself and setting the same expectations for yourself, if you even need expectations in the first place, that you would have on anyone else healing from a toxic relationship or toxic parenting or whatever it is you've got going on where you're trying to recover and heal and you're not being super kind to yourself at the same time. So let's talk about that. My name is Lise Colucci, and I am here to help you understand, recover from, and transform your life after being around narcissistic people and toxic relationships or being raised by toxic people. Okay. If you need help with anything, if you need coaching, group coaching, or you need peer support, check out the information in the main description of every video. There's a whole bunch of links there that will get you started on your path to healing if you need the help and the support. Otherwise, hit the thumbs up, you guys, hit subscribe, and let's just jump in to talking about healing yourself from toxic relationships. Hey, Chris, thanks for being here. So to start off, I want to dedicate today this talk to all the helpers out there, all the people who silently behind the scenes help out in this community and other communities towards survivors, towards addicts, towards people who are trying to recover and heal and make their life a better thing. I would like to offer a giant outpouring of love to everyone who participates in that. It's a thankless thing sometimes because you're not doing it for the thanks, right? And it is a place where recognition isn't always given. So thank you. And thank you, Chris, for being here. So yeah, thank you to everyone, and let's go. So being kind to yourself. Why is it, you guys, why is it so hard to just be nice? Why is your inner voice, why is it so hard for that inner voice to like turn down the volume of the narcissistic and turn up the volume of what you want to be telling yourself? And yet, why is it so easy to see another person struggling with the exact same problem and have an outpouring of kindness toward them? Makes no sense, right? Really, does it? Because we've been brainwashed, right? We've been indoctrinated that everyone else is okay and we're the problem. Something's wrong with you. Something's not right about you. You are, we've been told this. We've been had it grilled in our head, and life has repeatedly shown us that this is a truth, right? And we don't feel that way about other people because we see who they are. This is why, you guys, the focus I have right now is on helping you become who you are. Not become who you are. Open yourself up to it. Let your truth be your life. All right. So that you're not so trapped in this indoctrination that's been planted up here by toxic people, by a toxic society, by everything you're told, by advertising, social media, all of it, right? And you become who you really are in a bigger way. Be more you is what someone always tells me. So I have a energy worker that works with me, and she's like, Lise, just be more you. Like, I don't know what that means, but I actually do. I kind of know what it means. I know what it means for me, where I'm not. It's a tricky place, right? Because we think we're operating from how we are. This is my personality, we say. This is how I am. But the truth is, a lot of that personality and the way it's coming through you, a lot of the things that you're saying to yourself, a lot of the things that you are experiencing as your thoughts aren't your own thoughts. They are indoctrination, and they are lies that were told to you so that other people can control you. Sorry, I was about to cough. So that other people can control you. All right. They're lies and deceitful things and manipulations that other people have used, and other situations have used, and institutions have used, and, in order to control you, in order to make you compliant to their will. I'm not saying we want to run around like a bunch of willful children just causing havoc, right? No, we just want to be kind to ourselves. It's as simple as that. Okay. And so let's talk about that. So when you're healing from toxic relationships, and hey, Demi, when you're healing, I've become more humble after going through horrific emotional abuse by a narcissist. Humble, interesting. It's interesting how it affects you, right? But where are you in there, right? Where is the true you? That's my question. Can you be kind as you find your way out? Can you do it in a kinder way? All right. I don't know you, so maybe you already are, but most of us are pretty hard on ourselves. We are the one who, with the inner voice that's been conditioned to self-hate. It takes a bit to step out of that, you guys. It takes some time. It takes being open to it, which is terrifying. It takes allowing a certain vulnerability towards yourself, which I talked about last week, right? And I'm not talking about vulnerability that everyone else gets to play with. I'm talking about seeing what you need to change and not self-judging in the process, because once that self-judgment comes in, boom, you're locked back into the cycle with it. And, there's tips and techniques for getting out. And we talked about that on another video. So we'll just keep going with being kind to yourself. So, step one really is just learn to be kind, learn to have that inner voice. I can remember sitting somewhere with a group of people and it was pretty quiet and somebody was telling a story and I mumbled something to myself, as I'm known to do, about something self-critical. Like, well, that was dumb. Why'd you do that? Like, oh, there I go again. Because I get kind of external with words, right? And this man, very kind man, Mr. Rogers kind, right? Looks at me and he said, if you talked to me the way you talked to you, I would get up and walk away. I would set that boundary. And he kind of put his arm like to hug me, but he didn't actually hug me. He put his arm and says, be kind. And I said, okay. He's like, no, really, find kindness. And that hit me, though, I still remember it to this day, because that's our go-to. It's cruelty towards ourselves that's been planted in our brain from the hits we've taken in life, right? And from the way we were taught to process the things that happen because of the manipulations and the traumas and all of that. So a lot of times it's getting out of your own way and being patient with yourself and recognizing when you're doing it, recognizing when you're being self-critical, recognizing when you're harming your own healing, okay? When you're in the way of your own healing, and that's not what you really want. And telling yourself it's okay, protective ego shell. You can let go. We're safe inside our own mind. We're safe inside ourself. We have to become safe inside of ourselves. You have to. There's a foundation that needs to be built, and it's not built from the outside. We're always looking for other people to validate us. Yes, that's wonderful. It's fantastic, and it's useful. And yes, we need that. But we have to build this foundation from the inside, because we're the ones stuck living in here, right? Like we just have to. And it's part of the whole healing process is to gain this sense of kindness towards yourself. You don't have to inflate your ego to the point where you think you're amazing. Just kind. How about that? Just start with simple kindness. When you catch the unkindness, let it be there. Laugh at it for a second and say, oh, that's the old way, not my way, not my choice. And then say something kind to replace it. This is very active work, this healing. This is not something that time heals. This is something that time will make worse, actually. If we continue in the same patterns we were taught, it will make it so ingrained that feels almost impossible to get out of it. All right. Remember that we're taught these processes by people who don't make changes. There's something, right? So, but we can make changes. You can make huge changes simply by being kind to yourself. Huge, enormous, gigantic, big heart change, right here, heart changes simply by being kind to yourself. Catching the unkindness like a sneaky little sneaker getting in there, not getting mad at it. In fact, be joyful when you catch yourself in a negative self-thought. And here's why. It's an opportunity to change it. Every opportunity you get to change it is building muscle, is building new neural pathways, is building new habit, is working towards your goal of self-okayness, right? Of self-acceptance, of becoming authentic. All right. So yeah. Okay. What are we saying here? Demi's, let's see. It took me over 2 years, says Chris, to find and love myself after beginning my healing journey. Oh yeah. Be patient, you guys. This isn't, like I said, it takes time. You may have giant flashes of self-awareness that lead you to a loving place inside yourself. and then it'll go away, right? You may have a retreat or an experience or something, and that is something I would love to do, is like host a retreat for this, just this, right? Forget the narcissist. This is about you, right? And I would love to do that someday. Pay attention, keep your eye out. All right. So yeah, you may have an experience that blows your mind and you're just like, wow, I feel so much better. And then life sets in and boom, you're right back in it. That's a problem, right? Because we go right back to the old patterns. That's okay. More opportunity at building the muscle, at building the neural pathways toward the goal, right? The freedom, the expansion of liking yourself and being with the okayness of self, right? Acceptance, allowance. All right. Hey, Mal, learning to love yourself is all the little quirks that make you who you really are. And also learning to forgive yourself when you don't do something perfectly is the key, the main key to healing. 100 and bazillion %. It is healing, right? Because with that, you can do anything. Seriously. You can fail so hard and still like yourself. You can succeed in an enormous way and you can feel it. You can have amazing relationships and you can be present to them. You can have relationships that hurt and suck and are the worst, and you're there for yourself. You see, there's no losing. And we're so afraid of letting go of that old pattern, letting go of the stinky narcissist voice in our head, right? We have a little narcissist living in our head that is the other person, the other people, the situations, the traumas, not the trauma itself. The trauma itself is trying to protect you. The experience of trauma is trying to protect you. And this narcissistic voice in our head that isn't ours, that in our thoughts, right, is trying to act as a protector. It's trying to keep you where you are, because if you do something else, you might fail. If you do it different, then you're the worst person ever. It's trying to keep you where you are, all right? But you don't want that. If you do, then be happy with it. And then just fine, hate yourself, whatever, right? But if you really, truly want healing, this is it, right? This is the giant doorway, and you open it up, and you're in the dark, and then you open the door and there's like this glorious field with tables with white tablecloths and people. And have you seen that in a movie, right? They walk through the door in a dream and wow. Anyway, okay. What else are we saying here? Hey, Audrey, why? We do have to be safe inside ourselves. Absolutely. And it's hard to be. Let's talk about that. Why is it hard to be? Tell me why for you it's hard to be, difficult to be safe inside yourself. It's hard not to gaslight ourselves, but we have to remind ourselves that we're worthy and lovable. Absolutely. Tell me why it's hard for you. What's the catch? What in your mind says, no, that's hard. That's so hard. Then that feeling, and where's it living in your body? I have to sneeze. Excuse me. The pollen's and the wind blew, and I oh, here we go again. Okay. Tranquil Vision. Hello. I'm still working on eliminating negative self-talk that comes when I start to blame myself for the time I remained in a toxic relationship. Self-blame, self-shame, self-judgment. Right? Okay. Another opportunity at working it through. So let's just work it through if you want, Tranquil Vision. So let's say you're having that thought right now. Let's pretend. Okay, if you can get in the pretend state with it, or if you're actually feeling it. What did you say? You're feeling a negative self-talk. So if you can imagine the self-talk, you know what it sounds like. Just imagine it for a second if you're not feeling it, or if you're feeling it, go ahead and listen to it. It's not hurting you. I mean, it is, but it's not going to be any worse than it always is, right? So go ahead and feel it a second. There it is. There's that negative self-talk. I know what mine sounds like. It's got the same broken record over and over for 52 years, So yeah. Okay. So you got it. You got it? You with me? Now focus for a second on an object in the room. Whatever it is. Just focus on it. Just look at it. Doesn't matter what it is. Don't judge it. Just look at it. Okay, now focus on, if you're sitting down, on your seat, sitting wherever you're sitting. Stay in it. Stay in your seat. You're inside this body. Okay? Now tell yourself, oh, I hear you. There's that thought. I caught you. Interesting. That's an old story I tell myself, isn't it? Doesn't matter where it comes from, doesn't matter where it went. It's just a thought. Now, replace it with a thought you'd rather have. You know what? I think I choose to be kind right now. I think I choose, instead of saying you're so stupid, saying, I wonder what we can learn from that. Or, yeah, that messed up. You just stammered right there. I wonder if that even matters. I wonder how we can speak more clearly. Whatever it is, right? Like whatever I wonder how it could be different. And then if your body's like, yeah, but you're always, oh, I feel you, stomach. Yeah, that's where you live. That's where this thought lives. Okay. Well, we're going to try something new. Okay. So maybe you'll feel better. And stomach's like, yay, we're going to feel better. Right. And boom. Does it help? Okay. Over and over and over. And every time you catch it, don't get mad at it. Okay. Because it is your opportunity for healing. We are offered a zillion opportunities every day, aren't we? Seriously, when you're in a negative spiral, how many opportunities have you had that day to do it different? Thousands, right? For real. Thousands, probably. Hundreds at least. And that doesn't mean you have to take them all. It means when you catch it, stop judging it. That is like key. You got to stop judging it. You wouldn't judge someone else for having that thought. You wouldn't be like, now, Audrey wouldn't be like, now, Chris, why are you doing that to yourself? That's so dumb. She'd say, oh, I know. I do that too. It's hard. I hate that. Right? Oh, I wish you didn't have that. Just do that. Just be nice. Be a friend, you guys. Whatever it takes. Listen to these videos. Find something, whatever you can anchor in to help you stay present to yourself, not present to your drama in your head planted there by other people or other situations. All right. So Audrey's saying it was hard because 41 years of other family and spouse gaslighting. Okay, let's talk about this. This is good. So let's get into the logic of it. Now that we've done the little embodiment with it, right? I don't know if that helped or not. Retraining your thought pattern. More than that. More than retraining your thought pattern. Okay? Embodying yourself. Being present to yourself. And creating a new way of thinking. It's not retraining. You don't want to retrain that old pattern. You want to make a new pattern. Let the old one run. Who cares? Oops. Hey, come here. Oh, and I don't know how to mute. Sorry. Hey, Tessa. Oh, there it is. I'm going to get her. 1 second. Sorry. As soon as I probably have to get up. The mailman's here is what's happening. And I'm in the living room with the dog, which is silly. Sorry. I know it's loud. She'll sit with us. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So I'm going to go back to Audrey real quick. You were saying it's because 41 years of family members and spouses gaslighting and saying you're not worthy or lovable. As you are. As you are, you're not a lovable person. Totally understandable that gets stuck in your head, right? I try to focus and counter the negative self-talk with positive. So try one extra step if you want to play with this. Acknowledge the negative self-talk as a reality. Not that you believe it, but that, yeah, that's what's in there. Stop fighting it. When we fight things, we create resistance. When we have resistance, we create energy. That energy, come here. That energy then feeds the process, right? It makes it so that the thing grows, right? So acknowledgement of the thing, whatever it is, the feeling, acknowledgement of the thought is completely different. It's allowing it to be there. Okay, yeah, but we're going to try something else now. Oh, yeah, there's that. there's that pattern. I know where that came from. That's pretty deep. It's in there, right? But we're going to try something else. We're going to try a new thought and then try the positive thoughts, or not even positive thoughts. Just say, I wonder what it is that can make this better. Try questions instead of thoughts. It's a suggestion. Okay. Demi says, Lise, is it normal to feel sadness after narcissistic abuse? 100%. You just had your world twisted up, thrown around, tossed around, confused, mixed up, and then thrown out. Absolutely. Especially when it comes out of nowhere and you didn't expect it, or with a covert narcissist. Super normal to feel sadness. In fact, I just made a video a few minutes ago before coming on here about what was it? It's called, I don't know what it'll be called, but it's about when you realize it was all a lie and what that feels like. All right. So watch for that. It'll be this week. Yes, be your best friend, not your worst enemy. And there's no reason to be your worst enemy, right? Like, what does that do for you? But reinforce it. The thing about trauma that makes it like the CPTSD, right, in the way it affects our minds, is that it's not that it isn't PTSD, where something happens, a traumatic event happens, and you have flashbacks to one specific traumatic event. When we're talking CPTSD, which is what we experience, we're talking repeated events. So you may have something happen with mom, toxic dad, whatever. I'm on the mom kick today, but toxic parent. And they teach you, toxic family members, they teach you that you are not worthy. Using words like, well, what are you, stupid? Why'd you do that? You're so dumb. You're always making mistakes. What is wrong with you? Instead of, oh, hon, did you make a mistake? Let's see how to work with that. And teaching you how to be kind to yourself, right? You weren't taught that. You were taught you suck, right? You're not worth anything. So yes, you were taught that. And then what happens in life is every time an experience comes in that enforces that, it's like a giant magnifying glass on that experience. Someone that didn't have that upbringing would have an experience that makes them feel bad about themselves, and they'd walk right past it because it's not their hook. It becomes like little hooks in your brain that your brain goes and it grabs on when it recognizes a familiarity. And then that familiarity reinforces, right? Reinforces. And you have it at critical points in your life, you'll have big ones. Okay. And if you're drawn to narcissistic people as love, because that's what you're taught love is, and you're not taught self-love and how to have healthy relationships, then you're going to have it repeat in big ways, right? Because that's all you know. All right. So what I'm suggesting here is don't try to unhook it. Okay. Let's just let that pattern be there. The reason is, that's a heck of a lot of work to go back and unhook every single little snarly burr that's holding all these. You'd have to go back through time and like rework every time someone told you you're wrong. And even when they're telling you you're wrong and it's not a big deal, right? That would be a lot. And even if you did that, you'd be healing from the trauma itself, meaning using the trauma to heal the trauma. Same neural pathway, the same thought pattern, the same process. So what I'm suggesting is get inside yourself, get out of your thinking loop through mindfulness, through embodiment, through presence, through love, through prayer, through whatever it is that gets you out of that thinking space. You know what I mean? Because everyone's had the experience of being sort of in yourself and outside of your head at the same time. Does that make sense? Like if you look at a piece of art and you're like, wow, and you really connect to it from your heart, a sunset, a flower, whatever, an animal, a baby, whatever, and you feel the outpouring of love, it's that space. Okay. And the way to get in there isn't just like, boom, let me in, unless you're lucky. Sometimes I can do it, but usually it's the little incremental ways of embodiment and focusing on your heart space and your breath and your body sensations of awareness of self, not body sensations like ouch, 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 because I got lots of those. Like places that aren't ouch, ouch, filling yourself, feeling your awareness of being a human being in this body. Okay. that has nothing to do with someone telling you you're right or wrong. Nothing to do with, in fact, they're so insignificant. We're expanding our minds, you guys. This is what this is. This is mind expansion, heart expansion, and leaving the past back where it belongs. Okay. We're not therapizing here. We're coaching through. Does that make sense? It's a different process. And there's room for both. There's room for all ways. So take what you want from it, mix it with what's already working for you, and see where it goes. That's my suggestion. All right. Mal is saying, I literally sometimes pat my own self on the shoulder when I do something good. It may seem silly, but it's helpful. You know what? That is so clever because your body and your cells are what remembers the experience. When you have a powerful emotional response to something, it instantly is embodied, right? Our emotions don't stay here. If they did, we'd just be like, I think I feel something. Wait a minute. I think I feel, when it goes boom right into the body, right? It goes, oh yeah, I feel elated in my chest, or, hey, good job. You're standing up taller. Your body is recognizing it. And just subtleness. It could just be a subtle thing in the nervous system, right? It's a nervous system reaction to a thought is what the emotion feels like. So patting yourself on the back or your shoulder is literally marking in your body, hey, right on, you did that. Good job, right? So you're literally marking the body. Perfect. Do it. That's awesome. All right. Okay. What are we saying here? You high five yourself? Excellent. Let's see. Tranquil Vision says, one of the hardest things to grasp was that my ex treated me poorly because he has a mental issue and not because I wasn't enough. It comforts me to know it was not my fault. Yet, yes, heart expansion. Expand your heart to include yourself. You know what? I'm going to, again, you're giving me such great stuff, Audrey. Like, expand your heart to include yourself. I'm going to suggest to you, expand your awareness to include your heart. Your self's already there. If you expand your awareness of self beyond yourself, out to forever, to the end of the room at least, expand your awareness of your presence. You guys, do you ever walk in a room and you feel someone's energy? You pick up a vibe. You walk in, it could be go to a grocery store, and I can tell when the person working at the checkout, I always have great conversations with people at the store, right? And I can feel when they're having an emotion. I don't know what their emotion is. I'm not psychic, right? But I can feel that something's going on, right? Or they look at you and they're like, have a nice day. And you can feel when it's like, have a nice day. And they're like, right? Or when they actually, like, their store I go to, they actually know me. So they'll go, oh, Lise, have a great day. And they actually, they're not gushing, but they actually mean it. Or they'll go, you have a good day. Good to see you. And they actually mean it, because for them, otherwise they're just staring at food all day. They like the interaction as a human being, and it's real. And you know how you can feel that? That is their energy extending past themselves. Otherwise, it'd be like this. Have you ever been with someone who's so loving? I'm thinking of someone in particular. I just love this person. Okay. And she is so reserved with her emotional self that she keeps her awareness, her energy so bottled close to her that it's hard to get close to her, right? A little bit. And she's brilliant, and she works, and the things she does in life are, and so when it's a totally different experience when she's able to be present to herself and let it be there with some vulnerability to self, like I've talked about before. All right. So yeah, kind of going off here, but yes, expand your awareness of yourself through the things I'm talking about to include the sense of your heart space and love. And then you become the love you are. You already are it, is my suggestion. It's already there, you guys. You don't have to go looking for it. You just have to open up to it. All right. Let's see. A really big thing that expanded my mind, says Mal, was when I realized that a toxic person's opinion is their opinion, not my own opinion. Yep. You allow them to be who they are. Allow them their opinion. Interesting point of view. Yep, not my point of view. My point of view is this. Interesting. I don't need to change them. I can't change them. I can offer a suggestion for a different, even here, you guys, I can offer you a suggestion for a way to look at life. If you choose, take it or leave it. I can't change you, right? Like you change you, you make the choice. A narcissist won't make that choice because see, they're so busy protecting a delusion of who they think they are and so trapped in their egotistical mindset. And their ego, it's like a hard shell, a wall that won't let anything permeate it because they would have to open up such vulnerability to themselves. But they lack the empathy toward other people to even care about doing that because this works for them. So yeah, okay. Smiling is contagious. It does come back to you. It's like a boomerang. Let's see. What are we saying here? Somebody said something. The hardest part. Oh, I was talking to Tranquil Vision. The hardest part to grasp that my ex treated me poorly because of his state, right? And not because I wasn't enough. It is hard because we are emotionally invested. Once you're emotionally invested, if you're not emotionally invested in someone, it's a lot easier to see it, right? You're like, oh, I see. Like if you're watching a movie and you can see a narcissistic character playing out and the survivor of that in the movie, and you're like, oh, that's so his. Like you're not sitting. Sometimes you are, but usually you're like, oh, he's such a jerk, or she's such a jerk, or whatever, and you're not sitting there going, I wish I could change them so that they wouldn't hurt me. You might be thinking, oh, get away for the girl or the boy, right? That's being affected, or the man or the woman, whatever. But when it's happening to you, it becomes very, very, very personal. And once you attach your feelings to it and you operate from that place, there's no way to understand it because you would never do that to someone. You're functioning then from your own point of view. You're functioning from your own point of view, and your experience of your mind, which is kind of part of your psychology and your ego, not in a negative way, but really we all have one, right? Trying to fix things, trying to change them, trying to project your goodness onto them. They simply don't have it. Let it be. Find another human to be around and other people. Yeah. It's totally different when you're in it. And I get it, of course, right? And here's the other thing. We don't want to just get so hard. Well, we can. I shouldn't say we don't want to. Some of us don't want to get so hardened to life that we throw everyone away at the first sign of a narcissistic trait, right? And so then that's a whole nother video, right? Like, and how to do that. We'll talk about that another time. But yeah. Okay. Anything else, you guys, that you want to say here? Because I am going to head out pretty soon. You have very much. You have it so wise. It's hard to see and understand why you are being treated so negatively. Narcissists can't see the empathy, even though they feed off it. They see it. They don't see it as empathy. They see it as their right to take. Something they take from others, right? And I honestly think that because they don't experience it, you're right, they don't see it in the same way. Yeah. So totally over. Hey, have you ever noticed that they act like a superhero that somehow has overcome all these things to be, even to love you? Is that what you meant? Yeah. Oh yeah. I've totally seen that. That's a really good point. I've totally seen that. Like they are just they've overcome it all. Oh yeah. To be with you. Uh-huh. Okay. Interesting point of view they have, isn't it? It's really about letting it be theirs when you're talking about that. And this is also a way to heal this part we're talking about, which is the parts that weren't yours, that are in your head now as your reality, meaning the negative self-talk, the being critical of yourself, the being hard on yourself. When you know that it is not your words, even if you can prove it's a reason to feel like they were right, can you recognize for a second that that was their point of view, just for a second? I mean, that's a way to work it from within the trauma, right? From within the experience, the same neural pathway is to be like, whoa, that was never mine. I never put that thought there. That was their point of view. That's interesting because they have that point of view about a lot of things in life, don't they? They seem to not, that narcissist seems to not be able to be kind to anyone. Ha! And now it's stuck in my head, coming toward myself. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Audrey. You're welcome. I blushes. Totally over. If you really loved somebody, you wouldn't have to say that, would you? Is that you meaning that's what they say? Yeah, I can't with their gaslighting, right? It's, yeah. It's always something to gray rock. Gaslighting just is. Because here's the thing, you engage with it, you start hook. Here's the thing with gaslighting, why it is so toxic, okay? And why it is so addictive to us and to respond to, and why it is so like reinforcing of our trauma. Because once you engage with it, once a narcissist is like, and they start the gaslighting, right? And you go and you feel that back and forth pull. I don't know about you, but what I feel most of the time is I live kind of in this place that's like down lower in myself. Does that make sense? Like I'm not, when I get all up in my head, I get forgetful, I get in a brain fog. And I think that's what the brain fog is we're all up in our heads, right? And trying to escape the pain. And okay, so the gaslighting makes me have to use my mind a lot because I'm holding on to the truth. I'm like, wait a minute. I know the truth and I'm pretty clever with words, right? And so you gaslight me, I'm going to go back. I'm going to hit you back with it. I'm going to be like, that's not how it happened, right? And I want to engage. It's like this really hard to gray rock when someone's gaslighting you, okay, for a lot of us. But the thing is, it's reinforcing because what we're doing is we're playing inside that neural pathway in a way that's like reinforcing, and it's creating a cognitive dissonance, right? Because it's like, I'm right, they're right, I'm right, they're right. They're totally wrong, but we're like gripping on to this old thought pattern and this old way of thinking that goes back to every other narcissist who's gaslit you and every other toxic thing in your life. And so you're reinforcing the pattern of this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, right? And so, and then you're done with it and you're like, why didn't I engage? Gosh, I'm stupid, I shouldn't have engaged. So then that's another like little thread that comes off that neural pathway and has its own one, which is all the negative self-talk. If you gray rock it for real, because you realize I want to stay present to myself and I can't do that when I'm in this bizarre conversation, then it becomes their problem. Go ahead, argue with yourself for 25 minutes. I don't care. You gaslight, have at it, is what you're thinking, right? Like that's just fine. Once you're there, you guys, once a narcissist is there, they're not going to stop until they wind it all the way up to the top of the roller coaster and ride it all the way back down. It's their food. It's their supply. So yeah, you don't need to engage in that. It's only reinforcing negative things in your head. Step out. Okay. Once I realized I'm just, you're talking about looking as a vending machine by these people. It made it much easier for me to start to disconnect emotionally. Right. Yeah. Once you become an observer of it, it's pretty silly, their ways. Yeah. It's incredibly damaging, but silly behavior. Okay. Audrey's saying, oh yeah, the ex said, I love you when I met you. Why do I have to say it again? Well, isn't he nice? Yes, they don't mind tearing you down daily. Oh, they can tell you the negative thing for 45 minutes, but they can't say, you did a good job today. It's pathetic. Their perspective and their devaluing mindset is so pathetic. It's so awful. Like, why do you want to live in that muck? Get out of it. And so that's why we're working here to stay out of our own muck, right? And to stop letting that create our reality. All right, you guys, I'm going to head out. I think I've talked this one through enough. And if you guys have any more comments, or if you're watching this on replay and you want to leave a comment, please do so in the main comment section. I try to get on there and reply to people or keep a conversation going, because that helps create new topics for the next day's live stream or another day's live stream. And it helps the community have some forward motion towards some goal of something. So really, this is about you guys. What do you want? What do you want to hear? What do you need? What's going on in your life? And I'm just making guesses when I come on here. Okay. So let me know. Okay. If you need coaching, group coaching, or peer support, there's information in the main description of every video. The group coaching is awesome. And I'm just going to keep talking about it until it's so full that we have to say, we need another night, because it really is a place of this kind of discussion, but you actually get to use your voice. You actually get, because obviously it's hard when you're in chat, right? Or you don't have to. You can sit and listen to other people use their voice while you are participating through your ears and your mind and your heart for yourself. Okay, so it's totally up to you. We meet 3 times a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 4:30 Pacific. Fridays, 11 a.m. Pacific. So 4:30 p.m., 11 a.m. And it's 60 for 4 weeks. So, I mean, it really comes down to like, I don't know, $10 a day or something like that. I don't know. It's not, it's not a lot. And it's, if those times don't work for you, once we fill, I will open another time, but it won't be 3 times a week. Obviously, it'll be a once a weeker for those who can't make it. But honestly, sometimes that's enough. So, this was lovely. It was lovely to have you, Mel, too. I'm glad I caught the live. We'll save for sharing later. You are welcome. You're welcome. And thank you for participating. I absolutely love the participation and how focused you guys are on your healing, because you know what? It's about you taking the steps for whatever it is that's going to work for you to find your healing in this. No one can do it for you. And we can only talk about the trauma so much, right? We've got to start making some changes. We just really do. All right. Hey, Lori, and thank you also to Flynn. Yeah, we're right about to end, Lori. But yes, please watch the replay and let me know in the comments. Make some notes for yourself and leave me some comments, because I will chat with you there. Okay. I always come back and try and talk to people there. All right. I will try to keep going. You're welcome. Okay. I'll see you guys later in the week. And what was I going to say? I will see you guys later in the week. And there are some videos coming up, so watch out for those as well. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Whoops.